Okay, so I have to make an edit to the last video when I said it was the first 3 albums. It's the first 4, you know. The ones that, you know, the super hardcore, you know, only roll with them. Yeah. And it's the very beginning of Sanitarium, Fade to Black, and One. I'm gonna try it without the pinky. I've never done this before, but I think, you know, some people are not gonna use the pinky, which I think it's a good idea. In general, I mean, use everything you have. I mean, if you got an extra, if you can use your thumb like Hendrix, use it. If for whatever reason you have 6 fingers, use them. Use, you know, I mean, the more you got, the more you can, you know, stretch out. Like, you're limited if you just stretch out like that, you know. Just use your pinky and you can go do more. You know, it's kind of the weaker finger, but, you know, you have to get used to it, and I think it's a good thing to get used to it. You know, obviously, I always keep my nails, you know, pretty much completely trimmed when I'm playing guitar. It really helps. I mean, if you're playing bass, I guess you can get away with it. You know, if you're playing guitar, especially if you're, you know, you're bending notes. You know, when you bend up, you don't want that. You know, you want it to be clean. So you have to, you sort of have to cover the strings you're not using and mute out the ones that you're not doing. And I don't know, it's just that. And when you bend, you know, you kind of want to have 2 fingers so you got more strength on it. So if my fingers were long and I didn't have the, you know, the right angle on that, then it would do that, you know. Let's see if I can do it. You don't want to hit the other notes that you're not trying to. That is an art in itself to cover up the notes that you are trying to play. Particularly when bending or just playing in general, you know. It's something you have to slowly get used to. It's like, you know, when you play louder, you know, more of that is going to become obvious. You know, more of the buzzing will. But that's not what this video is about, but whatever. I went there anyways. So this is about the Sanitarium, Fade to Black, and One, and I'm trying to do it without the pinky. I mean, you know, I'm doing that. Formation, you know. Fade to Black, the very first part, you're only using the A, D, and G. So you're gonna do A and D, you know, second, 2, 4, and then open G. You're gonna go up and then back. You're gonna go down and back up, and then you're gonna hit this, the 5th fret on the A. Then you're only fretting on the 4th fret, D. The A, D, and G are open. Do the same thing, where we're gonna fret the 5th fret of the A afterwards. So, shoot. And then back to this. And then it's going to do something different where it's 4th fret on the A. And 2nd fret on the D and G. And instead of, doing that other thing, you're just gonna do the open A and back down to that, back down to the 2nd fret. Alright, so let's do 1. It's the same formation. And you're gonna do 2, 4, and then open D. You're gonna do 3rd fret on the E, back down to the 4th fret on the D to open. Back to this. Back to that again. Only at the end you're gonna do the G, the open G. You could, I guess you could, you could do the 5th fret on the D, if you want. Let's see. And then at the end it goes open E, 2nd A, and then it does 2nd on the E and A, back to the A. Alright, and then sanitarium. It's just not practical to do that. That formation. I'm assuming most people that do power chords, they're probably doing, using these fingers. A lot of times I'll use the pinky, but it can be hard to just do this sort of strict, 4 fret thing where each string has a fret, but within 4 frets, you have, the 2 octaves, the same thing. But there's gonna be times where you need to stretch. That's why I think you gotta use the pinky. So, sanitarium, we're gonna go, E, A, D, G. The G is gonna be open and the E is gonna be open, so. We're moving that up 1 to 3 and 5, 0, and then 5, 7, 0. And then it's going to go into this sort of E major shape. Unless you do it like this, or whatever. I'll do it different. I do it like that, because if you use these fingers, then you can grab onto more notes easier, if you're doing it that way. Depends on what you're going for. But anyways, it's a G major shape. And you're gonna do E, A, and then open D. And you're gonna slide to the 3, 2, 0, and E, A, and D. And then that's just sliding up, hitting, the 5th fret on the E, and then the open D, and then going back. So, yeah, the main point was is that all 3 of those songs use the same, sort of thing. So if you can do one, I don't particularly mean one, the song itself, but if you can do any one of those, then you could do all 3. It's pretty sure it's 5 notes when you go down. A, B, E, F sharp, G, all these. That's just the first part, let's fade to black, after you do all the and then after that you'll go into but that's different. It's a power chord, 1, 3, 0, and then 4th fret E, 2nd on the A and D. Almost any major that goes into E7 or something, and then you go into the thing, where it's A minor, but I just went, probably 7 minutes more yapping than I was intending, and I don't know how to clip these very well. I'm not very good with, the video editing apps, so for anybody who stumbles on this, I don't know, maybe I'll put some timestamps so you can cut through it. But the original point was doing those 3 songs, Sanitarium, 1, and Fade to Black, how you have that formation, except I was trying to show how to do it without the pinky, which I think mostly I did. I don't know, it's the first time I've ever tried that. Pinky's very useful, so use it. Peace.